Good evening to all students. Because of the closure of schools due to Corona, I thought of starting an online class of economics, CBSE, grade 12 for you all. I am Mrs. Swati Kirmial and this is my maiden class lecture which goes online. Now while I was deciding out of two books, Macro and Indian, which I should take first, I decided upon Indian economic development because based on the last year's experience and the feedback which I got from different school teachers, it was that macro got sizable portion of attention while our Indian economic development suffered a lot towards the end. That means the chapters were done in a big hurry. So I thought of doing in detail an important topic of this chapter. So we begin with the first chapter of Indian economic development. The main content is from the NCERT book and the reference books which you all can use, which I personally would also recommend, Jim and Ohuri and Radha Govana. Right. Now children, as the very caption tells you, the state Indian economy on the eve of independence, all of us know, was in a very bad shape. Why? Because our country was ruled by 100 years Mughals, 100 years by the Britishers. And as we all know, when an outsider rules over another place, an outsider will never think about the betterment of the place because you are a foreigner to that place, no? So in the same way, when they came to our country, they were only interested in their betterment. So by the time 1947, when India was given its independence, we actually had nothing. And to top it all was the partition. To top it all, 82% of the population came to us and 65% of the food producing area came to us. So the population, the burden of population was already too high. Then food producing areas, Sindh, went to Pakistan. So this was another reason why India had to face a lot of problems. Before Britishers left, they jeopardized the entire sectors of our economy. All of us know three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So the beginning pages of these chapters basically focus on this exploitation by the Britishers of agricultural sector, industrial sector and the tertiary sector, that's the trade service sector. Agricultural sector plus. Britishers introduced the zamindari system. It gave supreme powers, a position of a lord to a zamindar. The zamindar could extract any amount of rent from a cultivator because the Britishers had given the tag of owners of the land to zamindars, while the actual tillers had no say. The laborers, the peasants, they were at the mercy of the zamindars. If the zamindars felt they could relax rent for a certain amount, otherwise they were free to just exploit the cultivators. And the zamindars had to pay a heavy sum to the Britishers at a specified date. So they were also pressurized from top. So you see, the pressure was from the Britishers side. So even if out of few hundred, even if one or two zamindar wanted to help out the cultivator, couldn't do it. Why? Because zamindar was supposed to pay a heavy sum to the Britisher at a fixed date. Else, the Britishers had said, you lose your right to mow your land. So each one had to, of course, take care of its own bread butter. So the zamindari system flourished. The zamindars lived in their own extra luxuries, while the poor cultivators, the peasants, the laborers, they had nothing. Food, shelter, clothing became a tough job for them. So the people couldn't work. As a result, our agricultural sector went into a real mess. Second, industrial sector. We all know, children, that the Indian handicraft enjoyed worldwide reputation and the Britishers had an eye on us. What they did, they allowed heavy duty on export of Indian handicrafts. So Indian handicrafts were discouraged to move out of the country. Obviously, if they will not move out of the country, they will not earn foreign exchange and the home industries will not be able to feed, would not be able to sustain. They would get crushed at home. And second step is they allowed duty-free import of British goods. You see, look at their strategy. They crushed the Indian handicraft industries so that the Indian people become unemployed. Right? And they allowed duty-free imports of British goods. The whole Indian market was full of British goods and they were cheaper, mind you. They kept the British goods cheaper. So what happened? The Indians also started buying British goods and the Indian handicraft industry suffered and the Britishers achieved their target. Third, international trade. The Britishers followed a discriminatory tariff policy. They allowed duty-free import of British goods into Indian market while duty-free export of Indian raw materials to the British market. You see, try to understand. They allowed the raw materials from India to come to them free of cost. And they also allowed their finished goods. Now try to understand the strategy, children. Finished goods were brought into our country. Now when a good is ready for consumption, the stage of employment is over. The raw materials, see, if you start working with raw material, the country people get a job. But raw materials, they were very cunningly sending it to their country. And when the raw material was getting processed, all those steps of production were over, finished goods were coming into India. That is how they crippled our Indian economy, children. Okay, so that's all for today. My suggestion is that you should take care of yourself and you mustn't waste your time. You can refer to ebooks and go through these pages in NCERT books also. And if you have any query, you're most welcome to ask me. Take care of yourself. Thank you.